think of a better closing keynote speaker for us at skucon. So let's give a round of applause to Ryan Moor.
Thank you. All right, guys. I realize I'm the last speaker on before all the alcohol, so I'll go quickly. No, I'm just joking. This has been an amazing event. I'm honored to talk. Mark, Catherine, thank you so much for having me. Bobby, thank you for all the coordination and give a round of applause for everyone who's talked so far. Content's been great. It's been hilarious. How do you follow the Brits? I just don't have that accent. It's very hard to do. It's been great content, a lot of takeaways. I've taken a lot of notes. And I have like Mark said, I come from the decoration side of the industry, and we're kind of a little different bunch. We're the ones who decorate all of the t-shirts and the promotional products that y'all sell. So who's a decorator here? Anyone? Couple? Awesome. Now, I have been in this industry for about 15 years. I've had a completely different view of the promotional products space. And I will tell you, y'all are the coolest promotional products, whatever you are. If you're a supplier or a distributor, you're awesome. I love the energy, love the vibe. Keep it up and don't stop. So our time here, this is a quote that I really like from one of the people that I've followed throughout my career. Our time's limited, so don't waste our time living someone else's life. You see, we only get one go at this, right? And most of our go is spent doing what? Working, We spend 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 40 hours a week, whatever it is, working. Then we sleep, and then a little bit of the rest of the time we do the other stuff. But the bulk of our life where we spend our passion and our time is working. So if that's what we do, then how? This is my little son Maddox there. I have three boys, 2 twins, and then him. So how do we then get what we want out of our own lives, but in our business, but also then inspire our teams that we go with, and furthermore, our customer base to go with us? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So destiny, right? What were you supposed to be when you were going to grow up? I'm not talking about this has been cool to hear some of the stories Steve was telling about Mark and some of the other speakers up here and what they did before promotional products. Whoever thought I never thought I was going to be in the t-shirt business. Whoever thought they were going to be in the promo space, So whatever journey got you here, what was the dreams that you had when you were a little kid? Not someone else's dream for you. What was your dream? And my dream always surrounded music. I always had side hustle. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a little kid. And my family was very musical. So my mom had me on the keys as soon as I could play. I hated piano lessons. My first hustle actually was trying to convince, I went to a neighbor's house and I played the kazoo. And I tried to convince her to pay me money so I could play her a song on the kazoo. And I think I got it. I don't actually remember. But that was the first business transaction I ever did around music. Now that changed quite a bit throughout the years. The songs changed, the style of music's changed, but it was still there. That music was still there. And ended up being a little punk rock band. A little bit about me. I grew up in a Christian private school, very, very conservative. I couldn't go to the movies when I was a kid. So I got into punk rock music and started playing to my parents' chagrin, but they were cool with it mostly. Music throughout high school, and then instead of going to college, I went to the University of Rock and Roll. And we played for about 6 years. We recorded 6 albums, toured the country, and we never really hit it big. We had a lot of fun. I will tell you, I'm so grateful for that experience because I think music can tell you so much about business. It teaches you how to hustle, put yourself out in front of people, sell, pitch, get shot down, be creative. It was a great learning bed. And fortunately, I also didn't know that it would get into the industry that I'm in today. Because bands, anyone play music here? I was talking to Jason earlier. He was in a band. He needed t-shirts. We needed t-shirts. And we had no money. Bands are broke. So we figured out how to silk screen our own t-shirts. And it was gnarly silk screening. Luckily, I will say that we were in the punk rock world and nothing really had to look that good. We silk screened in kitchens, on tour buses or vans, in hotel rooms, cured shirts in the oven. They would stick about half the time, and they would never really look that great. I was in Haiti. I'll tell a little bit about the story. I was in Haiti last week, and the flash dryer didn't show up. It got stuck in customs, so we literally cured shirts in the oven again. It was a blast. They're like, we don't have a way to cure shirts. I'm like, do you have an oven? Yeah, okay. So the music industry led me into screen printing. And luckily, punk rock is super DIY. So all the other bands that we were on tour with, they were like, wow, you guys make your own shirts. That is so cool. How much do you make a shirt for? Like, I don't know, $2, you know? It doesn't cost any money to go make a shirt. And so they started to ask us how to, as me and the band, they started to ask us, a really spiky hair. They always called us, we were a pop punk band. We weren't a real punk band. If there are real punkers out there, we were definitely not one of those. More of a boy bandish. Our heroes were like Blink-182 and MXPX, the heroes of pop punk in the 90s and 2000s. But these other bands started to screen print alongside with us and helped them started side hustling these little screen printing kits. And in 2004, when we recorded our last album, my dad asked me, it was right after we recorded, we weren't doing anything, it was in the winter time, so we weren't touring. And he's like, hey, Ryan, you want to go to this internet marketing workshop that teaches you how to like sell stuff online? And I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible. Who wants to do that with a whole day? But he's like, he kind of sold me because he's like, they gave you a free lunch? I'm like, wow, free lunch. I'm in, Dad. So I go to this internet marketing workshop with him, and 10 hours later, $10,000 that he invests in starting an e-commerce business in 2004, started a company called Ryonet. And I was back on my computer later that night punching in, what can you sell online? And silk screening supplies, screen printing stuff popped up as a pretty good option, and I was already doing that. So we started a screen printing business. And it grew really fast. It was a cool beginning because I learned online marketing. We went from literally me in my bedroom in under 2 years to about an $8 million company. So right out of the gate, lots of fun. I don't even remember the first 2 years. A lot of stuff happened. But I do remember coming off Warped Tour, and then the next big event that I did was an industry trade show. And I remember hating it. I remember like, what did I just sign up for? Our band broke up. No more punk rock, concerts for me. And now I'm standing in line under fluorescent lights next to a bunch of goobers selling stuff. And I'm like, oh, I didn't like the industry. I really didn't, The first 2, 3, 4 years in business, it was about growth. It was about learning something new. That was challenging. But really liking the customer base and the industry wasn't a part of it. And that's really that transition. There was a click that I'm going to talk about later that transitioned. And that's what we're going to go through today and I'd like to share. So the main 5 points that I want to go over is first, be true to your core. Be true to that initial vision, that initial destiny. Then serve first. Be worth following and connect with people. Create experiences and then go big. Prepare for getting in a little hairy and don't stop. So after that click, we've continued to grow. We're about a $50 million a year business right now, mostly in the supply space to the apparel market. And it was really in 2007, 2008 that something changed and we started to do something a little bit different. So it was really when my dreams of being a musician kind of changed, I let my values kind of guide. And there's been talk of core values, and Brittany mentioned it. It was really cool to hear common themes, things that I'm talking about, already talked a lot about today. So our values did not start at the beginning of our company. They came 5 years into the company. But super, super important for us to get to the next level. And these are our values: be true, serve, work hard and smart, be the best at being better, and to be positive, and we say, embrace the craziness. So the first value is be true. Be true to yourself. Be true to what you're passionate about. I speak a lot at conferences, and we were just at the ASI show, and I speak with one of our customers, this guy, his name's Brett Bowden. He runs a company in Texas called Printed Threads, and he was speaking, and he got a negative score on one of his reviews because one of his talks was about how to have fun with your niche, your customer base, how to create friendships. I've heard that talked about, create friendships with the customer, and somebody in the promo space said, I don't believe that's possible. X. This guy is saying false information. You guys believe that? No, absolutely not. So be true to what you're passionate about and bring those along with you that you're working on your team and that you're doing business with, and you're gonna have so much more fun. But first, serve. You know, it's funny because we all sell fairly similar stuff. And I tell my team this, and I say this to everyone here, the world, our business could go bleep off the map, and tomorrow, the world's still gonna go on. You know, they don't need like screen printing supplies because there's tons of other people that sell screen printing supplies. They don't need promotional products, you know. And sometimes we get all haunchy on ourselves and say, hey, you know, we're so important. But no, we're not. It comes with service first. The companies out there that serve, that create value for their customers above and beyond are the ones that go great places with their customers. And it all starts with service. And in fact, our customers get to give us, every single time, they give us certificates of service. They vote. And they vote in forms of money. So those who serve better, whether it's in a role or a job or a customer or a vendor, those who serve better, that put themselves out there first before expecting anything else in return, are the ones that get the reward at the end. So we've always had that. That's our second core value as a service organization. And we don't merit service on how much money somebody spends with us. We don't merit service on their attitude that day, even though some people are much happier to serve than others. We merit service on just going above and beyond in whatever way we can. And we ingrain that into our culture. And that really helped us build a base of customers. We have about 28,000 active customers. Really helped us build a base of customers that help define the rest of our journey, which is coming to a mission and a vision. So we call our mission, our values was the first thing that kind of centralized our company, and that actually became before our mission. We call our mission Powering the Print, because we are behind that print that gets on those shirts that you all sell. We help that come to life. And that really catalyzed our company and our team to really go out there and serve our customer base. I love our customer base. You know, you could pick them out of a room. I was seeing, going and talked to a few today, and I talked to Jay over here, and I'm like, you know, we're talking about, he's like, man, I think I used to buy some ink for you. I'm like, oh yeah, you totally look like a screen printer. You know, it's a fun customer base. A lot of people that screen print came from the music industry, you know, so it's a really fun, interactive customer base, and we get to power that creation. And then you guys all get to supply that to everyone. I love this industry because it touches every single part of life. I mean, whether you're, you know, in sports, by the way, if you're missing a football Eagles jersey out there, yeah, my second cousin's Carson Wentz. He's on the bench, but got hurt again. It's sports, music, whatever you're into, nonprofits, you know, martial art, whatever it is, you get to supply it. And that's what makes it fun. So our vision really cultivated from our customer base. And we call it Make It Better. So our mission is to power the print. Our vision is to make it better. And when we say make it better, this industry is a very commoditized industry as well. I remember I was in Haiti with a Canadian that was at the very beginning of Gildan. And he's been in the industry for like 30 years. And he's like, I used to buy a Gildan shirt up in Canada, made in Canada, for like $5.50. And now I can buy it for $1.50. What's up with that? Did everything just get cheaper in the world for that to happen? Not really, you know. All those resources that it takes to make that t-shirt actually got fewer, in fact. You know, so we're in a very commoditized space. And we have the ability with the products that we sell to make a difference. whether it's make a difference in the company's lives that you're selling a product to, or make a difference through the products that we sell. So our ultimate vision is to turn more commodity into more value, and through that, create a different type of industry that doesn't always scrape the nickel. The next thing that we always have to do is connect and be accessible. So tons of talk about social media today. What's your favorite platform? The point is like being there. Where are your customers at? I was one of our customers are on Instagram and they're on Facebook. Not so much on Twitter, not so much on LinkedIn. They're on Instagram and Facebook. You have to be there. You have to interact with your customers. You have to call them on the phone, see them in their shops, visit them, and be accessible. When they ping you, be ready to talk, And that always being there, having extended phone hours for us, or having a team, all of our sales team, all of our support team, our marketing teams, they're all on our social media channel. We just don't have one person that runs it. Everyone interacts and they chime in. And in fact, we even have our customers that do it for us. So after we've connected, I think it's super important to create experiences. And these experiences can be big experiences, and then they can be small experiences. But it's a series of positive experiences that creates our ultimate connection and loyalty with our customer base. So this is a picture of a group of customers. This is our third trip to Haiti that we actually started with. So part of the topic today is talking about creating a new niche. And we've always been on the supply side. I always had a dream of making a t-shirt. I wanted to make a t-shirt because a lot of the t-shirts out there, especially as they started to get cheaper in price, weren't the easiest to screen print. So I always wanted to make a t-shirt that was easy to screen print. And got the opportunity about 3 years ago to learn about a nonprofit that's making t-shirts in Haiti, which is one of the garment manufacturing countries of the world. And they're making them for living wages. So I got to go down there with my family to see what they were all about. And I was really convicted because they're not making them for the lowest wage possible. They're paying about 5 times the wage down there, which is about $3 to $4 a day US. So they're trying to pay 4 to 5 times that in order to prevent orphan care. Because orphans aren't orphans if their families can take care of them. There's about 80% of the orphan population in developing or third world countries actually have families that can take care of them, but they just can't afford to take care of them. So they give them to orphanages, and when they give them to orphanages, those orphanages then create income out of that because you go sponsor the kid. And so it's kind of a messed up cycle that just creates this poverty cycle. And so instead of taking care of orphans, what they decided to do is they started to give their parents jobs and then give them jobs. That was cool. I got to meet these kids. I got to see a place in the world that I've never seen before in my privileged American life, And how to start that, though? I mean, it costs a lot of money. Like these t-shirt companies, they're like not, $50 million a year companies or 30. They're like billion-dollar companies, right? They're huge. They have tons of capital. They've been doing it for tons of years. So how we decided to start that is with 12 customers. I figured if we could find 12 diehard customers that come from different areas of the industry that we know, maybe then they could go out and help promote and build a product that's worth selling. So the product that we see here in this picture was sourced, created, it was crowdsourced. And crowdsourced is huge, whether it's fundraising or kicking off a product. But it was started with 12 customers. The name was developed by a customer. Allmade is the name. The logo was developed by a customer. And for the first year of sales, they all came from those 12 very initial customers. It allowed us to get off the ground and started running before we had to go out and try to figure out the business as a whole model. So when you create those big experiences, like last week I was in Haiti again. That was our 6th trip. So we've taken over 120 people to a third world country and had an incredible experience with them. Every trip you never know how it's going to go. You show up and you're like, all right, I don't know like 3/4 of these people. I don't know if we brought an asshole along. I don't know like if we got somebody that just likes to booze too much and somebody that, is, you never know. And guess what? there are some of those people on those trips, but that experience brings everyone together. We've never had a trip go awry. You end up crying on the shoulder of somebody that you've never met before, coming up with brilliant marketing ideas, and really getting inspired and creating a connection and experience that is worth so much. So how can you do that with your customer base? Get out of your norm. Take them and do something completely different. And what kind of connection, what kind of relationship would that make? And where could you take that? How powerful could that be? But it's not just the big connections and not just the big experiences either. It's also a lot of the small experiences. That's actually somewhere that we messed up at, because the last couple of years I've been focusing on creating this big change and this big experience, and lost focus on some of those small experiences, some of those single shipments, or that first order, or not having the best accuracy in shipping or whatever it might be. So it's a combination of both that really creates the loyalty. And when you see the curve, the loyalty curve, the more positive experiences you can create, and the bigger those experiences, that customer relationship is impeccable. And you can't break it. You can't stop it. So those are the things. It's not the big things only. It's not the small things only. It's really both that allow you to really break the competition, because competition is irrelevant when you have that type of relationship with a customer. So the other thing that I want to talk about is transparency. And again, this was already talked about today, which is awesome. But transparency is big, especially in today's generation. How transparent do we want to be with our information? With how much money we make? With how much margin we make? With information about a mistake that goes awry. So I'm going to tell you a story. A couple years ago, I was with a customer actually at a wedding in Mexico. So drank a little bit too much tequila the night before, waking up a little bit past business hours, and I get pinged by customers on my cell phone. He's like, dude, you got to check out Facebook. Some major crap's going down. You need to jump on this right away. So I jump on it, and one of the things that we had some issues with is we tried to outsource some of our processes. One of them was pouring ink. We take big drums of ink, vats of ink, and we pour it into little tiny containers, gallons and 5 gallons and quarts. That sounds pretty easy, right? But ink's sticky and it's kind of hard. So the company that we hired to do that hired temps, and those temps could really give two craps. So they started under pouring ink, and that got out to our customer base. And so one of our customers got a gallon of ink that was half full. I'm a very positive person. I'm like, well, the gallon's half full, come on. That was not him. He was not having it that day. He's like, I paid full price. I got a half gallon, and this is not happening. So they posted this. One of my customers called me out on it and said, you got to jump on this. Within 30 minutes, it had 400 interactions of oh man, that's so messed up, and we have a lot of haters out there too. Not everyone loves us. So they're like, yeah, I told you they're just like the Walmart of screen printing supplies, the big guys. You should come buy ink from us. We make our ink full. That's an easy marketing pitch. And so I'm like, oh crap. I'm on vacation. I'm trying to respond. But literally every single time this has happened on social media, I put my cell phone number out there. I PM everyone personally, and then I obviously get my team involved in it. So we just jumped on this thing. And we interacted personally, whether it's a phone call or a personal message, with every single person that complained. We also, on the flip side, had a lot of customers they're like, man, instead of posting this on Facebook, you should probably just called them and they probably would have fixed it. But it actually taught us a very valuable lesson. So after I got back this next week, we actually decided, now this was one of those $100,000 mistakes. I mean, we had at the time, I think, 30,000 containers of ink out there in 9 different warehouses. And so we had to go audit that, and we had to go to replace that, and we had to make it right with every single person that we had messed up with. But we decided to do it, and we put out this video when I got back.
Wow, look at all that ink. So this has been the last few days. Last week in Mexico, got pinged by Travis at Stumptown, said, hey, ink debacle on Facebook. That was fun. But Brandon and I have been down here fixing that ink debacle. And since we're both wearing gray shirts, we're gonna tackle the gray right now.
Well, gray has been the worst of it, so we're definitely missing gray.
Well, that was good. Right?
That one looks okay.
We're weighing them, and
Look at that.
Yeah, that one's low. Yeah.
Okay. All right, our gray needs 1,300 grams. We're finding that they're coming up short. 30% or 40% of the gray. Gray's been the worst color. So before, same batch numbers are mixed together. We're making sure we're getting to 1,300 on these. 1,660.
Yeah, that looks good, right?
That's going to be
slightly over. And keep in mind, these containers are a little larger too, so they don't fill all the way to the brim. That way they don't explode. We've actually found more heavy containers than light containers, but if you find an empty container, please let us know. We'll make it better.
So that video got 10 times the interactions as the original post, and a ton of positive industry response. So we took a bad situation, yeah, it cost us some money to fix it, but we flipped it and used it to create a much more powerful interaction. And now we pour our own ink again. We don't let that happen anymore. So it's all about creating that loyalty, and it's all about taking that customer relationship and turning it more than a customer, you know. It's a friendship, it's a partnership. And when that can happen, it's really amazing the big places you can take it. So what can you do with your customer base? What can you do? What experiences can you create? What big things can you go after, and how big can you take it? You know, are you worth following? Are you being that person that people want to do business with? And first of all, are you doing business with the people that you want to do business with? If you're not, how can you do more of it? So how big do you want to go? And you'll have the quotes like, don't stop believing, don't stop. I think it's hard because in business, a lot of times we hit roadblocks, right? And you might have a great year, you might have a bad quarter, but if you can keep pushing and if you have a momentum with people that are pushing with you, that pick you up along the way, going forward and not stopping becomes a whole lot easier. So what's your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal? What things do you want to do this year, next year, you know, through what you sell? You know, Beverly mentioned in one of the answers earlier, I loved it, that Jay was asking, like, how are you differentiated? And she said, we're differentiating because we're giving back through what we sell. That's awesome. Because think about your revenue stream, right? If your revenue stream is like, you hear the 1% of the planet, you're giving 1% of your profits or 1% of your revenue to a good cause. That's great. So if you're a $100 million year company and you're giving 1% of your profit away and you do 10% EBITDA, you're giving them $1 million away a year. But if your cost of goods sold, I heard 37% margins here. So if your cost of goods sold is $73 million, and every single product that you buy and every single of your operating budget is giving back to the lives of the people that you employ, and you're choosing to do business with suppliers that are making their employees' lives better and their parts of the roles better, now you're taking $90 million and making a better impact with it, not one. And that's just by choosing differently, choosing to do business with people that you align with, suppliers that you align with from a values perspective, building customers that believe that together. And that's the impact that a business can have through what they do every single day. So our theme this year at Ryonet and Allmade is the bus. Now, this is a tap in Haiti. They're not air conditioned. They often break down. And that's what we kind of say our bus is a little bit. You know, we go on these roads that not many buses, you know, a lot of people like to get on the big tour bus and go like down the highway, but guess what? So many people have gone down that highway before. We want to kind of make our own road. We want to take our team and our customer base along with us when we do that. So that's 30 customers in one of those buses in Haiti going down the road. Only one person threw up, so it's all good. It was the big guy too. And I was sitting next to him. But those types of experiences, you know, have created lifelong friendships for me, but also helped change the way we do business and created a vision and shifted our mission to something that I never knew was possible. And so a while ago when I started, I said there was this shift, something tweaked that turned Ryonet from just growing a business and doing revenue and building a company to actually creating a culture both internally with our team and then externally with our customers. So this is one of the bands that I looked up to was MXPX, and singer that is named Mike Herrera. And when I say looked up to, I mean, I was like 16. I've thrown like so many CDs at this stage of this guy. Like he's rocking out. I'm like, listen to my demo album. Come on, man. Like never talked to him before in my life. So he's like my idol. And in 2008, 2009 range, I got to go to this concert when he was playing with one of his side gigs. He's like the little rockabilly band. And there wasn't a lot of people at this concert. So my wife's like, hey, you should go talk to Mike Herrera afterwards. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like my idol. So I walk up to the merch table and I'm like, hey Mike, what's going on? You played really good. And he's like, all right, man, yeah, cool. And I'm like, what the heck am I gonna talk to this guy about? I'm like, t-shirts. You sell t-shirts, that's awesome. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I make those. I'm like, oh, you make those t-shirts? And it's like, yeah, I make those t-shirts. Me and my mom like been silk screening t-shirts for like 10 plus years, like how we do a lot of our merch, especially when we're not going and doing these big tours. Like, oh, that's cool. I also silk screen t-shirts. Right, starting to have a little bit of an interaction with this guy. We start talking. I'm like, hey, by the way, where do you get your stuff from? And he's like, oh man, I get this stuff from like this website, and so I think the name of the company is called Ryonet. I'm like, holy crap, that's my company. You get stuff from us. He's like, oh yeah, I have that one of those silver presses that you guys, oh, that's awesome. So we made this connection, and I'm like, wait a minute. This industry is free. That click was there. I was like, hey, I can have fun and I can do what I love doing every single day. My dream was to go out and hang out with the people that I wanted to hang out with to create, whether it's a song or a piece of art or a relationship. And I can have fun doing that. And I can do that and grow a business at the same time. How cool is that? And so give it up to Mike, because he actually allowed me to fall in love with the industry that I didn't think I was going to fall in love with. So he's come and played a few of our events. This was the last event that he played at. And a lot of our customers and team members and under a big tent, because it poured outside, rocking out, had a lot of fun. And he at that event, he's seen the course, because he used to be a customer. He's like, dude, you guys have grown something really special here, because I've seen it as a customer. I see it in 2008 and 2010, and this was last year. You better not mess it up. You better keep it going. So this last year, I was really fortunate to be able to write a song with him. So I got to write a song with him, and I pitched him this idea, Don't Stop. It was a song that we were ready to record on our last album, but never really recorded it. It's about kind of a guy that was going after a girl. So that was the only thing I wrote songs about. And so he's like, that's cool, man, but I'm going to take that idea, I'm going to turn it into something that's way cooler. So he ended up writing a song about our company and our road, being a customer along the way, and then seeing that growth and that culture and that area that we had carved out with, that we could have fun, connect, do business with people that we like, and change the world in the process. So he writes the song, Don't Stop, and we used it as our theme for this year, because it's about like a bus, and we are all on that bus together and going and doing some amazing things. So I'm going to play it for you guys. Definitely not as good of singer as Mike Herrera, by the way.
So many long years have brought us here. We've held on tightly through the bumps and shifting gears. We've come a long, long way. We never gave up and never gave in. We fight our dreams to swim upstream and win. We're the best we've been today. And when you're proud to be alive, and when you're proud to love this ride, but don't stop riding with me, 'cause we are meant to be out front here, making new history. Don't stop riding with me. Whoa, don't stop riding with me. Sometimes we break down on this bumpy ride, but we always make it better, put it back in drive, 'cause the road less traveled on's a little rough. I thought I knew where this road would end and how to turn and win. Turns out I was wrong. That's okay, 'cause we're strong, and that's how you learn to live. You learn to drive. So don't stop, 'cause we're taking it back. We're not a part of that pack. We're out front, making new history. Don't stop rocking this bus, 'cause it's all up to us. As long as we're driving, as long as we're free. But don't stop riding with me. Oh, don't stop riding with me. Don't stop riding with me. All right, thank you guys.
I think we got some time for some questions, right, Mark? All right. And then we shall wrap up. So, any questions or microphone conversations as we wrap up today? Yeah.
I'm just so surprised you decided to go into a market of making shirts. It's such a competitive industry. And what makes your shirt so much better to print on than the next level?
So that's a good question, and we didn't do it for many, many years because it was so competitive and expensive to make a shirt. But one really cool thing about being able to design a shirt from the ground up with people that print them all day long is to be able to really design the threads. And so, for instance, this shirt has 6 recycled water bottles in it. We use a very high quality polyester that's all recycled. Instead of taking oil out of the ground, we recycle water bottles. So I think to this point, we've recycled about 8 million water bottles. We don't dye the polyester so that they don't dye migrate, which helps. We also use a product called Modal, which is smoother and softer to print, and then we use an organic ring spun cotton that doesn't use any chemicals. And that just came about through the conversation in Haiti, actually. We were around a table kind of discussing how are we going to literally pick the fibers to build this shirt that's going to end up printing better, but also have a better impact on society. Because fashion is about the second most wasteful industry on the environment. So we not only wanted to have an impact on the people that we're working with in Haiti, but also on the environment as well. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, so if you go to impact.allmade.com, it shows the calculation. And this actually came from a college. I was talking to somebody that was in the, Fred, you were in the university market. So it came because we lost a bid to Gildan for the environmental club in this university. And I was like, how do you lose we're like a sustainable shirt, and they're the environmental club, but they're using a non-sustainable garment that is like 1/3 of its weight in chemicals, and it takes 700 gallons of water to create. How do you lose that? I was helping a customer do it. And he's like, I just couldn't, I don't know. So I go out, I do the math on this order, And this order was for like 1,000 pieces. It wasn't a huge order. And so we go in and we end up, that one order like would save, you could plug in 1,000 on that app and it will tell you, but it saved like 80,000 gallons of water if you went with the sustainable shirt option. Recycled like 6,000 water bottles, didn't use over 1,000 pounds of chemicals and oil. So it made that big impact, and he went and showed that to him, and he won the bid back. So that's how that was created, and it's been a really great selling tool. It's called Impact. So Allmade.com is the name of the brand is Allmade, Allmade.com. It's just impact.allmade.com. And yeah, go plug in your t-shirt sales for last month. It's really interesting to understand the difference that a small order or a big order could make. Yeah. So we initially started our market with a direct-to-consumer market or direct-to-decorator market, and we started a closed market, so we haven't even been selling open market for a year. It's been about 7 months. But you can go to allmade.com and sign up as a wholesaler, a distributor, so we are building partnerships in this space. We're probably going to go through distribution. Our goal is to get through distribution. We're trying to do it through our own distribution channels because we have 9 warehouses. But man, if we can't pour ink right, I don't know how we're going to make that shirt order right. So we decided to partner with somebody that is like really good at that and has the financial to stock the inventory needed to grow that space. So that's why we're here at the PPI show actually to meet with distributors and kind of interview and see what's a good fit. So if you got ins with any of them, give us a thumbs up. Yeah.
Your first steps into the promotional products industry because you've been a decorator lifer for so many years. After this experience here today and hanging out with all of these promotional products misfits here, what is the thing that scares you the most and excites you the most about coming into the promotional products industry?
Well, I love the last talk because I don't think you should get scared, So just you shoot your eye out, go for it anyway, right? That's kind of our philosophy in business. But what excites me the most is the volume that everyone does, It's a different sale, so I think the challenge is education, and the challenge is hitting price points and volume that's needed to do it, but that's really exciting because the impact that we could have collectively together could be huge. So it's a little different going outside your comfort zone, but it's also a huge opportunity. So. I have a couple, yeah. Give you the shirt off my back. All right. Any final questions? Well, thank you guys very much. Give it up to Mark and Catherine.
Thank you so much.